presentation on what it means to be holistically fit, especially in the holiday seasons, right? Because I don't know about you, I've already had more cookies than I probably should. So we're going to talk about that today in the aspects of nutrition and the aspects of physical health and the aspects of our spiritual health as well. And because the three of us believe that that's a holistic package. And so I am really looking forward to this presentation today. Just so you know, there's coffee in the lobby, and the bathrooms are also in the lobby area. You will not offend us if you get up, walk out, and then come back in. You will offend us if you get up and walk out and don't come back. So, there you go. How's that? We're going to just go, here's our plan. Each of us is going to do a short presentation of our piece of the puzzle, and then we're going to do some Q&A. We'll give you a break to stand up, breathe, get a cup of coffee, come back, and then we'll do the next presentation. We've got 3 of them. They're real short. We want to get you out of here by 11 o'clock because in Linglestown, there's a Chris Kimball market, and I know some of you want to head that direction today. So, all right, Dave's first, I think, and Dave Grixis is, here's what's great. The 3 of us are fast friends. We've become good friends over the years, and what we didn't know is we all knew each other. And so all of a sudden the 3 of us connected at this level, and we said, you know what, we've got to do something together that can help change people's lives. And so that's been really important for us. Dave, you just squeeze this and it goes up and down. If you stay close to it, it'll pick you up. All right? We are filming, so those of you on Facebook Live, thanks for watching. We really do appreciate that. And I believe we're also recording. So there we go.
Thank you, Pastor. How's everybody doing? Good? Good. So I came up with this concept about 6 years ago called Earthstrong. Right? Everybody talks about, going to the gym. Well, I think the gym is important. I really do. I believe that as we evolved over time, we lost our connection with the earth and what God put here for us. And so I was broken about 6 years ago. So I've worked out, I've trained athletes, I've had guys in the NFL, I've guys that play basketball overseas, making millions of dollars, right? I've had that opportunity to do that. But one of the things I started to notice was my body started to fail. So about 6 years ago, it would take me sometimes upward of 2 to 3 minutes to get out of the car. My hip and back would hurt so bad. Okay, and I did all the stuff everybody told me. Lift weights, do all the things you're supposed to do, take care. Nothing was working. Okay, I went to doctors, all this kind of stuff. Finally, I figured out what was wrong. I started doing experiments on myself, started to figure out those things. There were 3 things, there was 2 things really that I was missing. The physical part was there. Okay, even though I was broken, the physical part was there. It was the mental part, and it was the spiritual part mostly. And that's what all became Earthstrong. And that's when I wanted to talk to Pastor Dave, talk to Nadia, to bring that all together into one type of workout, one type of healing. Because I think if you have all 3 healings, you're complete. And I think that's what we totally miss. Some of us have the spiritual part. Some of us have the mental part. Some of us have the physical part. And some of us have 2. But very few of us have 3. All right, we all say we do, but how deep are we willing to go for all 3? How many is willing to go outside and shop food? How many are willing to go outside when it's uncomfortable? See, we got to a part in this life that we've got so comfortable. Okay? We got so comfortable in what we do. And as I started reading through the Pastor Dave 6 years ago, really started diving into the Bible, I started seeing, I'm like, Abraham, Noah, okay, guys living long lives. Now you say, well, maybe the Bible is just using these terminologies and these numbers as something else. I kind of disagree. When I started to look at things, I'm like, they lived a much uncomfortable life, but they constantly moved. So the average person today, okay, the average person walks 4,000 to 6,000 steps. The average person, 80, 90 years ago, walked 10 to 20,000. Now think about that. We wonder why our bodies are failing us and why we have more chronic diseases. We start with one chronic disease by the age of 48. You will have one chronic disease in this country. By age 60, we will have 3 to 4. You probably know people that are on medication for diabetes, high blood pressure, you name it, we're on it. And we have all these things. But here's the great part. You can reverse almost every single one of those naturally if you're willing to put the time into it. Everybody asks me, well, Dave, I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to do this. Okay. Start basic. What's one of the most basic things you can do? Walk. Okay? Everybody talks about this jogging thing. I'm not a jogger. I don't believe jogging is the right thing for human beings. The more I study it, the more I think it puts too much stress on the heart, puts too much stress on our ability to be what we're supposed to be. And God designed us for two things: walk very fast and sprint. And everybody said, why sprint? Well, we were hunters and gatherers. We had to sprint to get our food. We had to sprint to get away from something. And that's the important thing. Everything reverts back to what God has in the Bible. The Bible tells us what to eat. It's specific in what we should have. But how many of us fall outside of that? How many of us fall outside of what we should be eating? What should we be taking in to nourish ourselves? It says taking the plants, taking the fruit, taking certain types of animals. If we stuck to that stuff, do you imagine how much better we'd be? You look at our ancestors, and yes, everybody says, well, they might not have lived as long as us. Look, we're living to 78, 80, we got this. But how many of us are chronically diseased during the last 20, 30, 40 years of our lives? You know, I work with people, like it was majority of athletes for the longest time, but I've gotten a passion of trying to help people gain longevity. I want people living to 120, 150. Everybody says that's crazy. Why is that crazy? There's no reason it's crazy. If that's what God intended us to live towards, then why aren't we reaching that? Why are we getting to 70 and we're getting excited about it? And I think there's so many things, basic things that we can do to get there. Walking's number one. I don't care how cold it is. Okay, you got to get out and walk. Okay, now I understand they have, I don't know if they still have it, I know Clinton Park Mall used to have it, where you could walk around the inside there, which is great. All right, but the key is getting up. How many of us get up every hour and walk? From our jobs or whatever we're doing. Every hour we should get up. I'm not saying you have to walk long, but it should be about a minute or two. Get up and get the body stretched back out. Excellent. Love it. All right? I think it's perfect. That's what we should be doing. How many of us actually just move? Awesome. You know? We should not feel sore when we get up. Everybody says, well, that's just age. Is it age? Or is there something deeper? So the more I study why we have, pain in our joints, in our backs, there's certain things in the body that we're just starting to understand. Okay? We go to, when we need our car fixed, what do they have to put in? Oil, correct? So it makes the car move correctly. You have synovial fluid in our bodies. Well, guess what doesn't rehydrate if you're not moving? The synovial fluid. So when you get up after sitting for 3, 4, 5 hours, guess what hurts? Your joints, because they're stiff. You know how many young kids I have nowadays compared to 20 years ago when I started, 25 years ago? That come into me with chronic, not even chronic, but painful knees, backs. These are young kids. They're not injured. They're just not moving enough. School is killing them. Way too much school, way too much of the electronics and stuff as soon as they get home, right? We're destroying our bodies. And when you destroy your body, it takes years off of it. And these are important things that we all have to understand. Movement's key. You could sit at your desk and you could just actually extend your leg up, hold it, work the quad muscle here, flexor for 5 seconds, bring it back. You're actually moving the body, okay? That's what the body wants. It's the number one thing the body likes the most is movement. It's not sitting. It will become lazy and won't move, but it wants to move. I've had athletes that come into me, and actually older adults, who say, hey man, I'm really sore, I hurt my ankle, I hurt my shoulder. It hurts in this motion. We start moving it in all different motions. They walk out and they say, David, doesn't hurt. But the doctor told me not to move. Why? I have no idea why they tell them not to move. The body loves movement. You have to move constantly, all the time. It is so imperative that you move. Get up, 2 minutes. If you're at work, get up from your desk. Every hour, set an alarm, 2-minute walk, or 2-minute movement. I just like to bounce. Just like to sit here and bounce. Why bounce? Because the body likes this as well. It helps with the lymphatic system. Flushes it out, cleans it out. You can move on the next day. There's a thing inside our bodies called fascia. We all know it as plantar fasciitis, okay? It's the bottom of our foot. It's deeper than that. It's your electrical current, okay? It is the electrical current of the body. It carries your nervous system and the electric part of your body, and it spills it out so your body knows what to do. How many of us have ever had an injury? Every time you have an injury, guess what? That electrical current has to find a different pathway to go where it normally would go. So we know, because there's construction in Pennsylvania every single time you turn around, right? You can't go anywhere without running into something. If we get from point A to point B, we leave our houses, right? Because we think, hey, there's no construction here, I should be able to get there in 5 minutes, and then we find out there's 18 roads closed. Okay? That's what your pathway has to do when it's electrical. It has to fire through, and if there's a block, because we were injured, it has to take a different path. Where every time it gets thrown off, guess what happens? Your body has to adjust. So here's my homeopathic statement. I'm walking, it's how God made me. I'm perfect, everything's awesome. As soon as I get hurt, now I gotta step over a little bit. Okay? Now I'm down this pathway. Now I'm down a little bit different, so I have to compensate somewhere else. Now all of a sudden I hurt myself a little bit more, now I gotta step over here a little bit more. Now I'm getting further and further away from where I should be. All because of one injury. And people say it's crazy. I have people come in, I said, have you ever been hurt? Nope. You sure, go back, think 20 years ago, have you ever been hurt? Well, yeah, now you mention it, I hurt my knee. These things all lead up to what comes out later on. That's why people say, why age, and I get hurt. You just didn't fix it back when you had it. It's not anybody's fault, it's just we didn't know. Now we're starting to understand, and these things can all be taken care of. That's the beauty of it. When I had my injury, and I talked about that at the beginning, it hurt. I had to figure out what was wrong. I figured muscles out that I'd never heard about before. I figured techniques out that actually work, and I use them on clients today. All because of diving in deeper to what our bodies are made of. But it was from God, 100%. He's the one who started showing me the way. Hey, dive here, go here. You got to go this way. And he started to help me out understand what was going on in my body so I could help other people out. And I think that's what we have to understand, is that our bodies are temples. And if we really truly believe in God and believe God made us, then why are we not taking care of the temple? Why are we not doing everything possible? Eating right, eating as healthy as we possibly can, getting up and moving, okay? Spiritually filling ourselves up. These three things are the things that will heal you quicker. I've had athletes that come in and say, doctor told me 6 weeks I'm out. We work on them, they're back, 2 days later they're back playing again. Not because of me, I never take any credit. I will never take credit for anybody coming back. It's all God. All right, he just shows me a way and we go for it. All right, but he's giving me ideas of what we need to do to fix people. And these are the things that we can all do. You need to live a healthier life. Not just for you. If you have kids, grandkids, don't you want to be there? Don't you want to participate? Don't you want to be able to squat down, get down on the ground, roll around with them like we're all supposed to do? These are all things that we were meant to do well into our late lives. I'm going to leave you with this. I had a great aunt. She was 100 years old when she passed away. A week before she passed away, she was never on any medication. This is the crazy part. She was never on anything, never took anything, never took up blood pressure, nothing. She was doing laps at a local pool a week before she passed. She was driving, and she was actually a better driver than most people I see today. In all honesty, she was aggressive when she needed to be aggressive, and defensive when she needed to be defensive. She was phenomenal. She was 100 years old. She would get down the ground. She would get up, no problem. I'm looking at her like, is that possible? She built a house for herself. Okay, she had a house built when she was 93. Most people were ready to go to retirement home. She's building a house. She did all these things because she took care of herself. She constantly walked. She grew up in that era where you had to walk all the time. She did drive, okay, because she did drive in certain places, but she walked. She constantly kept moving. She goes, well, I don't want to sit still. It's boring. Sitting here by myself is boring. I want to move. And that's what she did. And so then I started remembering back to her 6 years ago. I'm like, how'd she live? And then I started asking questions of people where she was around. And they all said the same thing. She never sat still. These are the things that we can easily do to start taking back your health. All right? Basic little things you start with. Then you build on them. Then you go, okay, I'm a little weaker in this area. Okay, what do I need to do to fix this area up? Okay, my leg hurts, my knee hurts. Okay, now what do we got to do? That's when you develop a program. But the basic stuff of just moving, getting up and just walking, is where it starts. And then just getting up and bouncing. Every morning, everybody should just get up and bounce for 20, 30 seconds. Just like this. This flushes out the lymphatic system. This just gets you going. And I'm telling you, it helps you out dramatically. Basic things that we all skip over. We think we have to go to a gym and lift heavy weights. That's not what you need to do. You need to take care of the body, the temple that God gave you. All right? So I appreciate you guys listening in. Does anybody have any questions on this part? And like I said, I'll be around, so if you guys think of anything at the end, please let me know. I'll be more than happy to answer for you. Yes, ma'am?
Suppose you already have pre-existing conditions, like I just got a shot this week in my foot.
you got to figure out we had to get rid of the arthritis, you have to get rid of the plantar fasciitis, and there's ways to do that. Getting shots and things like that, which are all great, there's other things you can do to work around those things. So there's always a workaround, and then you have to work on the things that are bothering you. So with plantar fasciitis, there's many things you can do. I used to work in therapy 20-some years ago, and what we did back then, what they have now, totally different. You know what I mean? But there's definitely things you can do to fix plantar fasciitis, because I have people that come in and say, hey, I have plantar fasciitis as well, and we work on it, and they're like, man, my feet feel great. So there's ways to do it. Like I said, the fascia is one of the things that is the problem. That's why we call plantar fasciitis. But you have to work the fascia. A lot of things that a lot of doctors and a lot of PTs are not looking into that they should be looking into. But it's working all over that.
To physical therapy board, and they gave me exercises for the specific problems, and
Yep.
I do them every morning and every evening.
Okay.
So,
I would love to see some of them. So we can talk afterwards, definitely. Definitely. Any other questions? Awesome.
Dave, I have 2 questions.
Go for it.
Because I know you've answered these with me. Talk a little bit more about the age thing, because one of the things you believe is that age is not a limitation.
Correct.
And you believe that strongly. I mean, I've seen people in the gym who are 9 years old, and I've seen them at 90 years old in your gym, and it's just you push people at the same level because you don't believe age should be the thing that keeps us back. But there are things that age does do for us, and does can limit us. Can you talk just a little bit more about age, and it's the restrictors in age, and then the non-restrictors, the ones we have in our heads, or the ones that we've told ourselves, right? Our grandparents said we shouldn't be doing that anymore, or
Yes.
that kind of thing,
All
right?
right. So age, great question. So age, to me, is just a number. Okay? What we really all should do, okay, go to your doctor and ask him to do a biological test on it. I really truly mean this. It's a blood test, very simple, very basic. That will tell you your real age. Your age chronologically is not an age. It's just a number given to somebody that said, hey, you aged a year. Here's a year. Here's 365 days in a year. Here's when you had your birthday. Great, let's move on. That's not your age. Biological age is your age. That's the age of your cells that are inside your system. So there's people who are 20, they're actually 60 years old. And I really truly mean that. That's what their biological age is showing them, because they have so many toxins in the body, they're so unhealthy and all this other kind of stuff. Then there's people who are 60 that have a 30-year-old body. Okay? So biological age is a thing that every single doctor, and I don't know why they're not pushing it, should be pushing, and everybody should be tested, because then they can see where you're at. Now, is there a limitation to an age? There's no question. If we allow ourselves to get to a certain point, like I would never say, all right, let's go out, we're gonna run 18 miles. Nobody's ever run 18 miles before. That's just idiotic. 100% idiotic. You have to start slow. But can you reverse that? I've seen people who've taken their biological age, which is 60, okay? And they're in their 50s. And reverse it, got rid of all their chronic diseases, reversed all their stuff, and now they're 30 years old. But yet their number that everybody sees is 50-something, but yet they're 30. It's a biological age that we all should be looking at. There's 2 things, biological and metabolic. Biological is more direct to where it should be. But that tells you the cell health, the cellular health of your bodies. And we all have them. It's what are we doing with them? And they get worn out, they get beat up because of the toxins. Now, unfortunately, we can't get rid of all toxins because they're still in our food. Even if you eat healthy, guess what? Most likely they're sprayed with pesticide. There's pesticides somewhere, unfortunately. I can't do anything about that. Your water, tap water is actually one of the most disgusting things out there, unfortunately. All right, so definitely filter it out as much as you possibly can. But there's a lot of things that we can do. Start eating healthier. Like I said, take the Bible, what it says. That will help to rebuild your cellular health. Get sleep. Nadia and I were talking about this earlier. Sleep. How many of us sleep 8 hours? At least 8 hours. Put your hands up high. Put it up high.
7, 8.
Put it up so everybody can see. 8 hours is minimal what the human body needs. Think about that. I know we don't get it. I don't get it. I'll be the first one to admit I was the worst guy. For 25 years, I slept 2 to 3 hours. I was working all the time. I worked 4 jobs at one time. And I constantly worked to pay my bills off. Okay? So I'm the first one to believe that, hey, I screwed up way back then. But I am telling you right now, sleep is probably the most important thing that every single one of us get. Now, kids, I think they sometimes get a little too much. 13, 14 hours, some of these kids, sleeping straight through. But 8 hours is what you need. 8 to 9 hours would be phenomenal. If you got that every night, you would watch a transformation in your body, right, over 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks. What would happen to your body? Your mood would change. Your energy levels would go through the roof. It's just incredible. If you're a guy, your testosterone levels shoot right up. That's where you get testosterone. That's when growth hormones take off, when you get the right amount of sleep. It's unreal, and that's when your body gets what? Repairs itself. The cells go into repair, health, and also what else? Because I've also studied this as Alzheimer's. There's a lot of people who have Alzheimer's is because they never slept enough. This healing process of the brain gets what? Heals when we're sleeping. And it helps to eliminate and reduce Alzheimer's. But we don't know that. We don't take that into account. So yes, age is just a number in my book. Everybody should ask your doctor, hey, I want a biological test on it. And then see where you're really at. And then you can go from there and say, all right, this is what I need to do. Okay? Very good question on there.
Yeah, I'm the 60-year-old who feels like a 30-year-old.
Exactly. You are.
So the second question
Yep.
for you is the line between professional health and what we can do for ourselves. When do we seek a professional? How long do we stay in the line, in the zone with the professional? And then how do we take that information and start applying it to ourselves? Where's that line? Does that line move depending on what the injury or what the illness or what the biological age might be? Where's, like, I come to you and I get help, and then once I repaired, I was doing everything at home and feeling good until the next thing happened and I'm back in the gym again, right? But eventually I'll get to a point where everything you teach me I can do on my own. So where's that line? Can you talk about that a little bit?
So that line is where you feel comfortable. That's a great question. That line is where you feel comfortable. In all honesty, as some people never feel comfortable. They never get out of it. They say they always want somebody there, which is fine. But it's where you feel comfortable and where you feel like, all right, I'm ready to take this on myself, as long as I don't drop off. Let's be honest, how many times have we started something in our lives, and then all of a sudden we're into it. We're into it hard, and then all of a sudden 2, 3, 4 months later, boom, it's dropped. That means we lost what we should have done. That means we're losing the battle, okay? There's nothing wrong with having a coach. I have a coach. I'm a coach, and I still have a coach who coaches me, right? To keep me on track, to make sure I'm doing the things properly, right? That's what you got to know. You got to suck up the ego sometimes and be like, you know what? I need somebody else there. I need somebody who holds me accountable for what I need to do. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes it's just a check-in. Hey, I'm going to check in with you once a month. I'm going to check in with you here. It's when you feel comfortable. It's when you get to that point. Okay? If you feel comfortable, then go for it. Go all out, check in when you need to, and then go all out. Okay? But you never stop. You never stop. That's what I always tell my parents. My dad's 85 years old and still works. Still gets up and goes to work. 60-some years at the same place, still working. When most people retire, he's still working. His neighbor, okay, who's close to 80 now too, same exact thing. Both come from a different generation, I guess. That he still works. And they look phenomenal. You ask them questions, they're on it. Okay? Do they move quite as well as they did 20 years ago? I wouldn't say so. But they're still moving. They're still doing all the things they want to do. Still being able to do, hey, can you pick my daughter up? Yeah, I got it, no problem. Not have to worry about it. Takes care of it. That's the thing. It's when you feel comfortable, then you move on. If you don't, then you continue to stay and get that guidance. But I always say you should always get guidance throughout your time. Just like come to church. You should always be at church. Once a week, at least, coming to see pastor or whatever church you're at, going there, getting that spiritual advice, because I think that's so important.
Well, and that came out of the three of us, it's what we do.
Yep.
We help people through moments in life.
Yes.
And so that question came out of, so the three of us, we're sitting and talking, and our desire is to help people just enough so they can do it on their own.
Correct.
That's our desire. Our desire isn't to get you into a system where we're going to make money for the rest of our lives or something stupid like that. That's just, to us, it's how can I help you get to a place where you're doing this on your own and doing it well.
Yep.
And that's important for the three of us, and that's why I wanted to bring that up.
Right.
There are moments, and you're right, I still have a coach in my life, I still have a mentor in my life, I still have those things. As I'm giving back to somebody else has to give into me, right? Feed into my life, and those things, we're going to talk about that in just a minute. But that was good. I really appreciate it, Dave. Did anybody else, any questions for Dave?
I appreciate you guys.
Good. I'm going to bring Nadia up here. All right? Yeah. All right. Does anybody need a break? Let's keep going. Good. All right. Nadia, you're on.
Thank you.
Here's your microphone.
I know I need a microphone. I don't have a voice like you, but I put it like all the way before.
All the way to that.
I'd be like, hello everybody. Hello everybody. Okay, so my name is Nadia Sharifi. By the way, they sandwiched me. I decided to sandwich with me. Coach Rex going first, and then me, and then Pastor Dave. I'm like, the girl has to be in the middle, right? Right? But, no. So just so you know, my best friend Marianne's over there. I know her for a very long time. I say a lot of things that are wrong. mess up slangs. They actually have a name for it. It's called naughtyisms.
Could you speak into the mic?
Sure. You see, I don't have big voice. That's like, there we go. Okay, thank you. That's better. I can put it up. There we go. You squeeze something. Okay. So, my name is Nadia Shruti. I'm the owner of Trimline Weight Loss and Wellness. I've owned it for over 16 years and I created it. Okay, so I actually created Trimline, and so I'm not part of a franchise or a corporation. I created it because honestly, my mother never really took care of herself. She was the most amazing person in the whole wide world. And as we grew older, she just, the sacrificing mother, right? I sacrificed everything for you. And she just was really a little overweight, but on top of it, really never took care of herself, not physically or mentally. And over the years, I decided that I'm going to help people lose weight, because I was pretty overweight myself from high school on to like first or second semester of college. I've lost 57 pounds myself, okay? So that's a lot of weight to lose on it, not even 5'2", well, 5'2 and a quarter maybe, okay? I'm not gonna lose that quarter, for, a body, right? That's a lot of weight. So I created it because honestly, as she grew older, obviously I realized that I need nothing was out there even when I was trying to lose my weight. Like I did, this is a long time ago, high school, okay. I did, Jenny Craig, which became Jenny Craig, but it was called Nutrisystem, right? And when we came to this country, we're very, very dirt poor. I come from a rural country. And we came here and we were really, really poor. And I scrunched up $100 to get 1 month's supply of Nutrisystem meals, which, by the way, it's unedible, just so you know. Okay, especially when my mom makes home-cooked scratch meals, right? So I was like, oh boy, I just bought this, put it in the freezer, never looked at it. But over time, when I moved away from home, that's when I started losing weight. My first semester in college, I lost about 10 pounds. And everybody's like, well, who does that? The freshman 15. I did that because my mother wasn't making my food anymore, right? She was a wonderful cook. Oh my gosh, those old school honey bottles, right? Well, she had cut the tip of that off and there was oil in there. And that's how she made every single freaking meal you can imagine. All I could see is her just squeezing the oil and everything possible. And it was delicious, just so you know. So then I went to school. I have a degree in food chemistry and anatomy and psychology of weight loss and weight management. And, and everything in the world that I could have done to probably make a lot of money, okay, a lot of money, I decided to open up a weight loss and wellness place to actually help people. And I know, and as, Pastor Dave said, I really didn't do this to make a lot of money, but when I first opened up the business, it was just me, myself, and I. And within 3 months, at a location in Lemoyne, there were standing room only in the lobby and people were waiting outside. And I couldn't believe it. It was like, when you open up your business, what do you want to do? I said, if I see 5 people per week, I'd be happy. I'm going to help 5 people lose weight and build a better relationship with food. And in 3 months, we were seeing like 40 people per day. Then we were seeing 100 people per day. Then we were seeing 200 people per day. And I ended up opening up to 4 locations. And I realized my passion really was about people that are getting older, for them to be around for their family. It was wonderful to get text messages of people calling me and telling me how they're able to fit into a dress that they couldn't fit in 20 years. Or their ring was finally be able to put their ring back on. Or their husband hugged them and said, I can put my arm fully around you, and that husband's still alive, but that's not the point. I can't believe he said that to his wife, okay? But I think he meant it positive, just so you know, okay? So, in any case, it was just those text messages and people to me coming that really helped me just keep going. Now, my mother passed away this Christmas. My mother was an amazing woman, amazing, my goodness. She hung in there. She waited to 12:07 Christmas morning to pass away, okay? Because she wanted to make sure none of us forgot her. That's for sure. And we would never would anyways, but she really hung in there up until that moment. And I love her. I miss her. She was strong. But in probably 16 years that I've done this, I've helped, I'm going to say over 40,000 people in 16 years that I've done this. And it's the most wonderful feeling in the whole wide world. First of all, I want to thank you for being here. And I want you to leave here after this feeling motivated to do a tiny little change. That's what I tell everybody when they come to me. We help you build tiny little changes every week, so by the end of the week it becomes something big. Okay? And you don't have to do things that are drastic. You know, I don't jog, I don't run unless, you know, there's a bear running after me or a murderer. That's the only time that I will do it. And I do work out. You know, I have a gym family that I talk to, which one is here, and I love it. But the motivation for me is living the best life that I can until the day that God's gonna take me. And I always tell people that I live longer than I've already have. So I'm 55 years old, okay? I don't feel it. This has come off, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I thought it was gonna win or I was gonna win. One of those, but I was gonna win. So, I have to move around, I can't stand still. So one thing that I really wanna talk about is how long, I've lived longer than I'm going to live. That's something I fully understand. Unless God's gonna let me live till I'm 110 years old, which that's wonderful. I have no doubt that maybe I can get there with the help of Coach Brex, right? So I might be able to get there. So there's two things that we do. We live in our mind and we live in our body. Those are two places that we would live. And we women really live in our mind. And I know, women are a bit crazy. I totally agree with that.
Wow.
There's nothing, I'll
Put
admit,
that right out there.
I did. I think we are, and I'm not ashamed of it. I don't want to be normal. There's nothing normal about me. Everybody knows that. And we talk about age. So for the longest time when I first came to this country, and by the way, I'm from Iran. I was born there. You want to talk about inequality and people, women not being treated right, go there for 1 month. And when you come back, you're going to love this country, okay, tremendously. I think a lot of people here don't know what they have compared to what other countries are. So when I was there, I was 13, 14 years old, and my father decided that if I'm going to live, he needs to get me out of that country, okay? Because probably twice a week, the personality that I am, they would call my dad, and they would be like, Dr. Sharifi, your daughter was talking to a guy. Your daughter didn't have her scarf on, her hijab as we call it. We heard your daughter playing music. I was playing music inside our house, by the way. And they do treat women pretty poorly there. And he was like, if I'm going to have my daughter live, I need to get her out of this country. Because honestly, I probably would have been stoned or thrown in prison, to tell you the truth, because I rode my brother's little motorcycle around town, and they called my dad about it. So it's just that's the person I am. So he got us out of the country, we came here, and for the longest time, those days, this is a long time ago, in the mid-80s, you kind of could make your birth certificate whatever it is, and for the longest time, I thought I was 2 years younger than what I am. Okay, so my whole friends, including Mary Ann, still makes fun of me, because they was like, we really don't know how old you are. I'm like, no, I got my birth certificate from Iran, and I'm 55, okay? And by the way, I'm on 9/11, and I'm a scientist, so put all that together. So every time I flew anywhere, guess who got flagged? This girl, okay? Not because of just the last name, my birthday's on 9/11, and I'm a scientist, okay? They're thinking I'm like building a bomb somewhere, which honestly, I have no clue how to do that. So I'm a nutrition scientist, so I wouldn't be doing anything like that. In any case, when my dad came to this country, he made his birth certificate 10 years less because he wanted to work as much as he could. Okay, that's what he wanted to do. Because he had to provide for his children, and he thought he had to mandatory retire, so he made his birth certificate 10 years less. And he's 92, and I hope to God that he lives till he's 110. I tell him that. I said, I want you to live to at least 100 years old. And he goes, I don't know about that. I'm like, I do. You're gonna keep thinking it, and you keep doing it. And I will later on share on Facebook that a video was sent to me. He's laying on the floor, and he's doing Jane Fonda kick-outs, okay, at 92, watching a show on top of it. And I want everybody to grow old that way. He's the most amazing man in the world. So we live in our body and we live in our mind. And I think the mind is the big trap. It really, really is. It's the mind that really stops us from doing a lot of things. It's not really our body, it's our mind. We're fear, we're anxiety, we're, I don't know, sometimes depression, right? And I think it's more fear than anything. You have to push through the uncomfortable. And once you push through the uncomfortable, that's really where you're going to shine. So nutrition to me is everything. With all the shots, weight loss shots that are out there, keto, intermittent fasting, liquid diets, you have to nourish your body. That's what I truly believe in. For my age, honestly, I feel like I'm 25. I really do, and I sometimes act like it, which I need to stop doing that part. But I do sometimes act like it. Why are you nodding your head so much? Okay, just wondering. So the thing is nutrition really feeds your soul, okay? And your stomach is very related to your mind. So actually your stomach is your second brain. When you're very sad, let's say you have a breakup, or God forbid you lose someone, you get the butterflies in your stomach, it's actually really your brain that's doing it. Your stomach is your second brain. Your gut flora is extremely important. So if you nourish your body correctly, you will absolutely find out that you have considerably more energy, and your mind, the noise in your mind will really settle down. And when people, I think there's so many people on the weight loss shots, okay? And not that I don't do anything. Mine's all nutrition. And I don't blame or condone anybody that does that. It's just you gotta connect the nutrition with it. Because our bodies are meant to have nutrients in it. You're supposed to eat. So when you don't eat all day, which I know a lot of people do that is the worst thing in the world that you can do. You have to eat breakfast. Breakfast is the most important meal. Everybody has heard that, right? Yeah. And yet, when I ask people that, when I'm with my clients, I'm like, because I know breakfast is the most important meal of the day, but I don't have it. I'm like, okay, so you say it's important, but you still don't do it, right? But I think everybody thinks we have to have like a huge breakfast in the morning. So if you even do a fruit in the morning, or have a yogurt in the morning, or have a protein shake in the morning, right there your body starts fueling it. You start to increase your metabolism. Just by tiny, within 45 minutes that you wake up in the morning. Within 45 minutes. And I know a lot of people are like, I can't eat that early in the morning. I could see your face, I could see that. I can see it, I know what you were thinking, okay? You're like, I can't eat that morning. I tell people, get a protein shake. There's Orgain, that's amazing, has your 50 superfoods in there. There's Premier, which is a little and then, Fairlife makes them. There's a really nice, clean protein shakes out there. Even if you have half of it, or 4 sips of it, you just fueled your body for your metabolism to kick in. I eat like a 250-pound man. I'm not kidding you. Okay, anybody that knows me will tell you that. I eat breakfast, whether it's a shake or yogurt or part of an apple, whatever, and I don't stop eating until about 3 hours before bed. Okay, so fuel your body, and when you fuel your body, you fuel your mind, and your self-confidence will be there. Your clarity will be there. And those are the things that aligns the 3, your body, mind, and soul. Your body needs nourishment. Your mind needs activity and movement and nourishment. Then you will get self-clarity. You will have self-respect. You will have confidence, and that's where your soul will then be aligned. You need all 3. I really believe that. And so for me, we live in our mind, we live in our body, and those are the 2 things that we need to take care of. And that's what really my focus is on when people come to me. And what we were talking about, how long should we stay with someone? Honestly, until you're confident. Our relationship with food happened when we were 5 years old, 3, 4, or 5 years old. And it's our parents that didn't know any better, right? And I don't have any children, but I do have a stepdaughter from a long time ago. But when she was, 4 or 5 years old, if she cried, we didn't give her, hey, do you want a cookie? Or let me make your favorite meal that's a mac and cheese, right? Or let's say if she did something cute, which she did cute things all the time, and it would be like, okay, let's go get some pizza, let's go have some ice cream. That's how our relationship with food was created. So happy moments, we gave bad food, not the best food I should say, when she did something adorable, it was the same thing. So our relationship, our emotional ties to food happened when we were 3 or 4 or 5 years old. Now, we did that. When she did cry, we gave her, yogurt and played with the blueberries, or we colored. We did everything that was not related to food. And her relationship with food, and actually Nancy Ryan's daughter, same thing, she's over 20, is not connected to food whatsoever. So our emotions to food were tied when we were 3 to 4 or 5 years old. Then when we got older, we acquired stress, right? So now the emotional eating, stress eating, comfort eating, they all happened when we were 3 or 4 or 5 years old. So when people come to me, and weight loss is the hardest thing in the world to do, is because it's decades of relationship that you have made with food. And you're trying to break that. And that's why with the weight loss shots, they're saying that the noise in your head, so it makes that go away. Yeah, I get it. And you don't eat because it suppresses your appetite. So you're not getting enough nourishment to your body. Your muscle mass is getting depleted, which the weakness will happen, okay? Which on top of it, your bones will not be as strong. So your strength will definitely not be there. So nourishing your body is one of the most important things. So whatever you're trying to do to be healthy, you need to eat, okay? Because that is something we were born to do, and that's how our body was meant to do. And to be honest with you, if my life depended on it, I don't think I could go without 3 or 4 hours without eating, because there's something called hangry. I don't know if you ever heard of that one. That absolutely exists with me. And in the breakfast mode, just get yourself a shake, have 2 sips in the morning, and that's all you need. Half an apple, 5 grapes. Just do that, and then an hour later, an hour and a half later, make your eggs or egg whites or whatever else breakfast you want, okay? So you definitely need a lot of protein in your day. Protein is my best friend in the world. I eat more protein than any human being can possibly eat, but I love everything about it. So I love animal protein, there's obviously vegetarian protein, and there's also dairy protein, like your Greek yogurt, and there's other things involved. So, when I was talking to one person, and she was saying to me, she goes, I really have a tough day, then when I come home, I really want to treat myself. So I have a glass of wine, right? And I'm like, well, and she was like 60, and I said, okay, I want to ask you something. What do you mean you need to treat yourself? Are you like 5 years old? You're not 5 years old to treat yourself, right? I don't want people to think of food as a treat. I don't want people to think of it as something that they're going to work out and then be like, okay, I can have this piece of cake. Your relationship with food needs to be different, and that's where that accountability comes into place. The one-on-one counseling and helping that we do at Trimline. Not that you need to do that, but you always need to find a place where you can be held accountable if you need the help, okay? And that is really what I talk about. So I feel like I'm going to do that biological testing, okay? And if it doesn't show I'm 25, I swear I'm not going to be happy, okay? Because that's really what I feel like, to tell you the truth. So I would like to open up to any questions, if anybody has any questions about anything. Yes?
This was not set up, I promise. So I know this is like a huge topic right now, and maybe just touch on it a little bit, but I think our country has such an unhealthy relationship with sugar. And I know I'm guilty of that as well. Can you talk a little bit about how to break that cycle, that addiction? Because we know that sugar feeds cancer cells, we know, everything that it does. That I think that's one of the biggest issues that we face right now, is that craving of something sweet.
Well, I think that's really part of it, is that, and to me, I know there's addiction, obviously, right? Addiction to different foods. My mind is, and we can't totally cut food out, right? We can't go cold turkey on it, even though right now people can not eat all day and they may have a dinner, right? That, I know a lot of people that don't eat entire days and they just do overeat in the evening, or if they're on the shots, they don't eat at all, which is horrible. So to me, I gotta tell you, I don't believe in sugar addiction, okay? And I'll tell you why. Because it's mind over matter. I truly believe that everything, our relationship with food, is really in our mind, right? If you thought that a cupcake, which by the way, it's my best friend in the world, I love cupcakes, is same as a salad, right? Like a salad would give you that comfort or the feeling that sugar would. That's really your mind over matter. So I love sugar, I really do, but it's moderation of it, right? I think we overdo it on things, on carbs or sugar, and it feeds more into it. So the more sugar you do have, the more sugar your body does want, right? That's what everybody hears, correct? We really do hear that. The more sugar you eat, the more sugar your body wants. But if we get to a place where we can totally control food in our mind, because it begins here. It began here when we were born, when we got the relationship to sugar and happiness and comfort with food when we were 3 or 4 or 5 years old. If we can retrain our brain, you will be able to gain control over sugar and do it in moderation. And in moderation is the key. But I've had sugar 3 days in a row, right? Is it harder to kind of not do it? Sure. But I think because I've had a relationship with food totally differently, I can control it. So if you can't do moderation, you might as well go clean without it for 1 week and then put it slowly back into your not daily, but weekly routine. So I don't know if that really answers your question, because to me, sugar is not the devil. We give it power, honestly. We're the ones that give it power. And I want to teach people that nothing should have power over you other than your spiritual belief. Nothing else. Not food, not somebody that's abusive to you, not cigarettes, not alcohol. Nothing should have power over you. And when you're in a place that I got raised from, when all the power was depleted from you, you're going to learn really quickly that I need to change the way I'm thinking to be strong. And at this point, nothing has power over me. And food should never be one of them. Don't give it power. So I hope that gives you the answer. Okay? Any other questions that anybody can? Yes?
I have two. Where are your centers located?
So I had 4 centers on Lemoyne, Locust, Lancaster, and York. But all of them are closed. We do everything virtual now. So whether you have, don't worry. Do you know, the oldest client I have is 86 years old. She's amazing. I tell her, I want to be you when I grow up. She still works part-time, does her makeup. She's like gorgeous. I love her. We have taught everybody how to do it. Don't worry. If you have a phone, you can do it. I even look at the tablet more. Absolutely. I walk you through it, set it up. It's going to be comfort of your home. We do one-on-one counseling. So you don't even, like when it snowed the other day, nobody missed their counseling. And remember, the accountability is everything. Because if you could do it on your own, I tell people you would have done it by now. Okay? And the key is to really have that accountability to somebody to constantly empower you. It's consistency. What people don't understand is consistency, right? When somebody tries to eat, they do it, I don't know, like sometimes they'll do it for 3 days. You eat healthy 1 day and you're like, 2 days you're off of it, 2 days you're back on it, 1 day you're off of it. So it's the consistency that's really important, and that's what we do. We teach people to be consistent with it.
And you mentioned the protein shakes. Could you?
Absolutely.
Again?
Oh yeah, Orgain's one of my favorite. And by the way, I'm a Costco addict, just so y'all know.
What is
Costco
it?
should hire me.
OR?
Orgain. Now it's a vegetarian, vegan, non-dairy, but it's really clean.
Okay, I don't want to.
I love it. And Fairlife makes one. Fairlife. Costco sells all of them. I know. They really should hire me. I've been talking about them for 16 years. Yes.
I'm the exact opposite of the sugar addict. I'm the carb addict.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to know what is I know people Wonderful. I just want to know, like, what is the difference between your program and, like, say, Atkins? Because I understand first week or two or something like that, there's no carbs.
First 3 days.
Oh, 3 days.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I could go 3 days.
You can go 3 days without it. I promise you. So the question is, what?
Potatoes every day.
Oh my goodness. So the question was, what's the difference between me and carbs, so carb addiction, right? So honestly, any addiction you talk about, which carbs or sugar, it's one or the other. You're either a carb prone or you're sugar prone or you're both. To tell you the truth, right? There's nobody says I'm a vegetable addict, okay? I'm waiting for that day for that vegetable addict to come out, right? Nobody says that. So it's either carbs or sugar. And the thing with carbs is we overcarb, right? It's not that you shouldn't have any carb. I've never believed in Atkins, and keto is glorified Atkins. That's what I say to people, okay? You should never go without anything long time on anything. And I like to drink, just so you know. I drink wine, have some cocktails, not every day, not when I was in my 20s. So I do like to still drink, right? And I love carbs. I'm a French fry person like you will not believe. French fries and cupcakes, okay? And I'll give you a story about French fries because I used to work at McDonald's when I was 14 years old. Oh no, I think I gained 20 pounds working there. I know in the summers, I'm not joking, I ate French fries like crazy. So the key is not to go without it. The more you deprive your body of something, the more your body wants it, okay? And again, the mind over matter, right? You only go 3 days. We do a 3-day, what we call a jump start. For 3 days, you don't do any starches. And I tell people, if 3 days you can't cut something out, you should be motivated to do it because that means it has a massive control on you, right? But honestly, people that come to me the first 3 days, you will never even know that you're not having a carb for 3 days because I'm gonna make you eat so much in those 3 days that you'd be like, what's a carb? I can't even look at a carb because you have to eat a lot in the 3 days. And it's all stuff that you buy at the grocery store.
Well, you said all your centers are closed now?
Mm-hmm. I closed them before COVID.
Okay, I didn't realize that. I love vegetables, but I make them the same way all the time, and I get so tired of it, and I was just wondering, does your program provide recipes?
Absolutely. So, even though like people are always saying that, hey, I really want to go somewhere and I want to go, I hear this all sometimes, I should say, that they want to come to a center, right? To get weighed in front of somebody. Your nutrition, your healthy lifestyle does not begin with the scale. The scale will fill you every single time. And I tell people, you're not going to be beside me for me to see your weight, held you accountable for me to see your weight for the rest of your life. It's not going to happen. You have to be accountable to yourself at some point. So the scale is really, like, I don't eat the way I do because of a number on a scale. I eat the way I do because I want to respect my body and I want to take care of myself. That's the reason I do it. I really want to respect my body. I want to age well and take care of myself. So in regards to, and does that your question?
Love the recipes.
Oh my goodness. So I love recipes. I created a group on Facebook, and if not Facebook, we provide so many recipes that you could do 10 million different things with vegetables, okay? But the caveat to that is this: sometimes food has to be fuel. That's it. That means you don't need to have a party in your mouth every single day. I know people feel like they should, but you really don't need to have a party in your mouth every single day. Okay? I know, don't. Okay. She's like, what are you talking about? I say crazy things, I know. And then the other thing is that I can come home from a long, long day and I can have broccoli, green beans, everything. Like, it could just be salmon and broccoli. It could be chicken and broccoli. Most likely it's pork chop and broccoli because I love pork chops, okay? So to me, those certain nights are just fuel. I don't care what it is. I might put a little Mrs. Dash on it, salt and pepper, whatever. To me, that's fuel. I'm just nourishing my body. Then there's probably 1 or 2 days out of the week that I do have the French fries. That I actually go buy cupcake at Wegmans and sit in the parking lot and eat it, okay? Because I did that. And this is, I know, so specific, right? That's because I did it. But my emotion didn't make me do it. Honestly, I just wanted it. I ate it, I was happy, and I moved on from it. So a ton of recipes, but once we fix this, that really, sometimes food needs to be fuel. I love eating healthy the same way that I love eating French fries, right? And I sprinkle those into my week, while most people will sprinkle healthy into their week, okay? And you can go out to eat no matter what. I love eating out. I love that cook or chef needs to be your personal cook or chef. When I first met everybody that would go out to dinner with me, they're like, do you ever order what's on the menu? I'm like, yeah, sometimes. But you're gonna get the same menu that I'm gonna get no matter which restaurant you go to. I'm just gonna choose differently than you are. Okay, I'm gonna make that chef make that meal exactly the way I want it. The way the steak's gonna be done, the way the salmon's gonna be made, the way my vegetable's gonna come out, the way my salad's gonna be done. I'm gonna make sure that I ordered it exactly the way it needs to be done. And every time you have your breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and maybe even after dinner, have a hot lemon water. Hot water with a wedge of lemon, more water if you're acidic, like you don't like things acidic, just a wedge of lemon hot at the beginning, and that will be the best thing for anti-inflammatory, for your joints, your liver, your kidney, and the balance of your pH for your skin. So, if we fix the fact that food is fuel, then that's not going to be a problem. I'm going to leave you with this. You know, I've had a radio show for 15 years on WHP 580. So it's 580 AM for 15 years. And most people are at church, but they get the second part of it. It's from 11 to 12 o'clock. But you can go to WHP 580 and listen to them. But one thing that I always talk about is, you know, when I was, and I think I told you the story to this. So when I was working at McDonald's, and we were dirt poor when we came to this country, I would get French fries because I knew French fries had a hold on me. I knew it, okay? And I think I was there till I was 16, 17 years old. So I was 17 at that time, and I've been working since I've been 14. But I would order large fries, and I would say to myself, you're gonna leave four of the fries on the, you know, the tray, and you're gonna throw it away. Because first of all, I didn't want to throw food away. We were really poor, to tell you the truth, okay? And I was pretty addicted to it. So I would leave the fries and I would grab two before I throw it away, okay? Then, I don't know, 3 weeks, 4 weeks went by, and then I did it with the small fries, and I said, you're gonna leave that and throw 2 or 3 of it away. And I did it. And I did it to the next thing that I had addiction to, which was salt and vinegar potato chips. So I would leave some on the bottom and throw it away. Then the third thing that I had was peanut butter Twix, okay? I did throw half to 1 stick of it away. And I think that's what we need to do. We need to train our brain to control things, for those things to not have control over us. And you train your brain just like you train anything else. When you first had your job, you went through training. If you want to ride a horse, I wish I could jump on a horse and just go away. You'll probably kill me. But you have to get trained on it to do it. Everything takes training, and your mind is definitely one of them. And I promise you, you can take over, have control over anything once we fix this. This is everything. Any other questions? I want to thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you. You can just leave it right there.
Right here.
Yeah. We're going to finish up, and I recognize the clock and how much of my time you two both took.
I know.
So
I'm gonna blame it on Dave.
I'm just going to say real quickly, you've heard over and over again that it's body, mind, and soul. And here's what I believe. I believe we were made by a creator who is a triune God, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. And it says in Genesis that we're created in the image of God, and that means we're also created as triune beings. So we're body, mind, and soul. And we're called to take care of all three of them. And when we don't, we're messing the other two up. You know, whichever one we're not taking care of. If we're not taking care of our body, our spiritual life suffers, our emotional life suffers. We all know that. So I'm not telling you something you don't know. So here's what I'm going to encourage you to do. I'm going to encourage you to leave here today deciding to take on one of these disciplines. So if you're ready, You want to write this down in the palm of your hand or pull out a notepad. Here are 4 different things you can do, and I'm going to just encourage you to do one of them. Just one, as a start. And we're going to continue doing these kinds of seminars. We've already talked about doing one in February, I think we said. The bleak midwinter kind of thing. And when we're all ready to just hibernate and eat, right? We're not bears. We don't have to do that. So, all right, 4 things. You pick one of them. Daily meditation. Daily meditation. No matter what your faith process is, sit down and just unwind your brain for a minute, right? Just focus and concentrate on the thing that's bigger and better than who you are. And your connection with, for you, it might be God. For me, it's God. And so daily meditation. Secondly, positive and powerful relationships. Exit out the relationships that are caustic and start looking for positive and powerful relationships in your life. We need to be loving well, and we need to be loved well. And so when you have love relationships in your life that are just powerful and positive, that's going to encourage you both spiritually, mentally, emotionally. So start working on your relationships. Maybe that's the one you're going to pick. Third, here's another one. Manage stress well. Doesn't that suck? Isn't that the one you didn't want to hear, right? Manage stress well. Here's how you manage stress well. You give stress over to the one who can manage your stress better than you can. And that's as a person of faith, that's God for me. God can manage my stress a whole lot better than I can. He can tell me whether the things I'm doing that are stressful in my life are really appropriate or not. Dave, you're worried about something and you shouldn't be. I got that. I already told you I got that. That's why I'm back going, I did the meditation part, right? So me and God are having this conversation about my stress. So manage your stress well. Trust in the one you believe in. And then 4th, I don't know which one you picked yet, but here's number 4. Stay in the race until the very end. Stay in the race until the very end. What I mean by that is every single day needs to be the race. You get up in the morning, you're running a race every single day. If you're not, the race is running you. The race is running you if you're not running the race. And sometimes we call it the rat race, whatever it might be, but the race is running us unless we choose to stay in the race until the very end. One of the questions I often ask some of the older members of our congregation is, what do you do to stay fit, to stay young, to stay mentally edged and everything? And most of them will tell you they get up every morning, they make their bed, and they have a plan for the day. And then they live out that plan until they go to bed that night, right? They're staying in the race every single day, all day long. Stay in the race. I know what about relaxation? Relaxation is part of the race, right? For me, relaxing is part of the race. I schedule it in, I put it in, I make sure I'm doing it. For me, sometimes it's meditation, and those meditative moments, whatever those might be. Whether it could be getting on my horse and taking a ride. That's relaxing for me. That's meditative for me. That's getting away. But I'm still in the race, right? I'm still doing something. Even when I'm on vacation, I'm still in the race because my vacation is part of the race, right? So stay in it every single day. So daily meditation. Maintain and work on positive and powerful relationships. Love well. 3rd, manage stress well. And then 4th, stay in the race. Pick one of those? Did you pick one? Fantastic. Thanks for being here today. Thank you for sitting on these incredibly comfortable seats. You came in and you thought, I'm going to sit on a pew all day? No, we got rid of those long ago. Thanks to Dave and to Nadia and for your information today. And I pray you have a great Christmas this year. That Christmas doesn't run over you like a truck. And you're like, okay, now I've got to diet for the next 2 months or, whatever, get my life back. But instead, you're in control. And Christmas is a wonderful time for you. That's my hope and my prayer. And if you're looking for a church, you found one. I just have to throw that in. Feel free to take a postcard with you that's sitting on your seat. All right. Thanks again.
Thank you.
We're over. Thanks. Take care and God bless you. Have a great rest of your day. If you're on Facebook,